Hey girl, have you ever wanted something so badly that you believed if I can just get this, I'll finally feel enough? Maybe it was a relationship, a certain goal, or a version of yourself. You genuinely convinced yourself that only once you finally had it, something inside you would just click. But then you worked harder and got it, but you didn't feel the way you thought you would. You were happy for a little while, or even thrilled. But eventually that same feeling came back. That feeling that something is still missing, that you need something else. Maybe there's another thing you have to achieve, another person you have to have, or yet another version of yourself you have to become in order to be fulfilled. And if you've ever found yourself in that cycle, because I have, I want you to listen up. Because maybe the problem isn't that you haven't found the right thing yet. Maybe that thing was never supposed to fill you in the very first place. One psychological concept that explains part of this is called hedonic adaptation. Basically, when something you've wanted for a really long time finally happens, your brain adapts to it. The excitement fades, the new thing becomes normal, and what once felt extraordinary eventually just becomes a part of your everyday life. That's why some things can feel like, if I could just have this, my life would be completely different. But then, a few months later, you barely even think about it. You get the thing, you enjoy the thing, your brain adapts, and suddenly you're looking for the next thing that might give you that same feeling again. And no, girl, that doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It just means that your brain is very good at adapting. And girl, this is where I want you to be honest with yourself. How many times have you told yourself, once I have this, I'll finally be enough? Maybe you thought that becoming prettier would finally make you feel confident, that getting the grades, the money, the friends, or the life that you wanted would finally make you feel proud of yourself. And maybe you aren't even chasing something huge. Maybe you just want someone to notice you because somewhere inside you're scared that if nobody notices you, you don't matter. But look, wanting those things isn't the problem. You're allowed to want love, to want to look beautiful, and to have goals and a good life. The problem starts when you ask those things to answer questions they were never meant to answer. A relationship cannot permanently answer, am I lovable? Looking beautiful cannot permanently answer, am I enough? Success cannot permanently answer, do I have value? Someone's attention cannot permanently answer, do I matter? Those are questions that go much deeper than anything another person, achievement, or circumstance can permanently answer. And there is another psychological concept called intermittent reinforcement, which basically means that when a reward comes inconsistently, you can become even more persistent in chasing it. Think about attention that comes and disappears at other times. You don't know when the next text is coming, when they'll give you reassurance, or when you'll finally feel chosen again. So you keep checking, waiting, and hoping, and suddenly you're not even chasing the person anymore. You're chasing the feeling that you get when they finally give you the attention you've been craving. You get the attention and now you need reassurance that it's still there. You get into the relationship and now you're terrified that they'll leave. You reach the goal and instead of letting yourself be proud, you immediately move the goalpost. You keep moving, but you never actually feel like you've arrived. And this is the part I really want you to sit with. You can get everything you once prayed for and still feel empty. Not because those things are bad, and not because you shouldn't want them, but because they were never meant to carry the weight of your entire sense of worth. And this is why the story of the woman at the well means so much here. She came to the well for water, but Jesus started talking about a different kind of thirst. In John 4, verses 13 to 14, Jesus says, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst." And I think this is such a powerful picture of what we do sometimes. We keep going to the same well thinking, maybe this time it will finally be enough. Maybe this person will finally make you feel loved. Maybe looking like that girl will finally make you feel comfortable in your own skin. Maybe getting that life will finally make you feel proud of yourself. And hear me out for a moment, it works. You feel better, you feel wanted, you feel excited. But eventually, you're thirsty again. And please don't take that as proof that something is wrong with you. Your need is real. Your source might be wrong. Your need to feel love is real. Your need to feel seen is real. Your need for connection, purpose, and security is real. But those temporary things cannot give you permanent peace. And this is where your relationship with God matters. God already knows the parts of you you've been trying to hide. He knows why you need the validation so badly. He knows why being ignored hurts you. He knows why you compare yourself. He knows why you get attached to certain people. He knows the emptiness you cannot even explain properly. And he isn't disgusted by you for having those needs. But he also loves you enough to correct you. You cannot keep asking people to prove you your worth. You cannot keep asking your appearance whether you're enough. You cannot keep asking your achievements to tell you whether your life matters. And you definitely cannot expect another human being to give you the security that only God can ultimately give. And hey, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to want a relationship. It doesn't mean you should stop caring about your appearance or stop having big dreams. It means that those things need to stay in their proper place. They can be beautiful parts of your life without becoming the foundation of your identity. Because let's be for real, relationships change. Your appearance changes and your circumstances also change. And if your entire sense of worth is attached to those things, your peace will always depend on things that are happening around you, not inside you. So the next time you feel that emptiness, I don't want you to immediately run from it. Before you text someone that you need reassurance, or before you start scrolling because you cannot stand being alone with your thoughts, stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? And what am I hoping that this will give me? Because that question changes a lot. Maybe you don't really need that person's attention. Maybe you're craving reassurance. Maybe you're not really obsessed with becoming prettier. Maybe you're desperate to feel enough. Maybe you're not actually obsessed with achieving more. Maybe you're just trying to prove that you have value. And once you understand what's underneath the behavior, you can finally start dealing with the real problem instead of constantly covering it up. And then I want you to bring that need to God. Not a polished version of it, the real thing. You can literally pray, God, I feel empty and I don't even know what I'm trying to fill this with anymore. Please show me exactly what's going on in my heart. You don't have to sound wise. You don't have to know exactly what you're feeling. You can come to him confused. You can come to him embarrassed or frustrated. You can come exactly as you are. And red warning, please don't use your faith as a reason to ignore the practical parts of your life. If you're lonely, build real friendships. If you're struggling emotionally, talk to someone you trust. If you need professional help, please get it. Asking for help doesn't make you a bad Christian. God can work through prayer, of course, but he can also work through people, wisdom, community, and professional support. And girl, then you should start building the life that still feels meaningful when nobody is watching. Work towards goals because they matter to you, not because you need everyone to see you succeed. Take care of your body because you respect it, not because you hate it. Spend time with people who genuinely know you. Learn something, create something, go outside, pray, read, serve someone. Let your life become something you actually experience instead of something you're constantly trying to prove. Because girl, fulfillment is quieter than you think. Sometimes it's being okay with an ordinary day. Sometimes it's sitting alone without immediately reaching for your phone because you're finally comfortable in your own company. Sometimes it's knowing who you are even when nobody is complimenting you. Sometimes it's realizing that you can lose something without losing yourself. And hey, I keep coming back to the woman at the well because she thought she needed water. Jesus showed her that she was thirsty for something deeper. And maybe God is showing you the same thing right now. Maybe your emptiness isn't saying you need more. Maybe it's saying, look deeper. Maybe it's revealing where you've been looking for your worth. Let it show you where you have been looking for your worth and then start bringing those places back to God. You don't have to fix up your entire life tonight. You just have to be honest with yourself about where have you been trying to find something that only God can give. And I want you to remember this. Stop being ashamed of the places in your heart that still feel empty. Stop expecting temporary things to give you permanent peace. and let that emptiness point you towards something deeper. Girl, you're not broken and you're not behind, and you are definitely not too much for God to understand. You are deeply loved, fully known, and worth more than anything you could ever chase. So, if this video helped you in any way, make sure to like and subscribe so we can keep building this safe space together. And if you've ever found yourself chasing something you thought would finally make you happy only to realize it wasn't enough, tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if you have any questions, make sure to drop those down below too, so that I can read and answer every single one of them. I love you, and as always, stay frickin' safe.